it does feel like just that cash grab and just did it just because you can and stuff. And it kind of shows with just like it being a Warner Brothers commercial for the whole movie. What's up, YouTube? It's Drive-By Movies here, and you are watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaze.
And today we are checking out new to theaters and HBO Max, Space Jam: A New Legacy, starring LeBron James as LeBron James.
Classic.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
Space Jam: A New Legacy is the brand new film to HBO Max. It is about a rogue artificial intelligence that kidnaps the son of famed basketball player LeBron James, who then has to work with Bugs Bunny to win a basketball game. So this is the kind of long-awaited sequel to Space Jam. Originally, back in the day, there was kind of supposed to be a Space Jam sequel, but it wasn't gonna have to do with basketball. It was called Spy Jam, and Jackie Chan was in it. It's just kind of weird. Never got off the ground. When Jackie Chan exited the project, basically Looney Tunes Back in Action was born to kind of keep the Looney Tunes franchise and kind of like series in, you know, the popular eye. And that I think did fairly well. I think it's a pretty good movie. I don't know if it did as well as how good the movie actually is. But anyways, that's not here what we're talking about. We're going to actually talk about the brand new film, Space Jam: A New Legacy. This is LeBron's take on Space Jam. Is he better than Michael Jordan? James, what do you think?
Well, I definitely consider LeBron James one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but I don't consider him the best. So you can call him King James. Like, I'm cool with that. He's a fantastic basketball player, but you know, I'm still a Michael Jordan fan and I still love Kobe also. But you know, you can debate all three of them as being the best player all time. That's not up for me to decide though. I love basketball, but I'm not the biggest fan. I do like Space Jam for the most part. It is a very fun, entertaining movie, but I mean, I like it for nostalgia purposes. I did rewatch it pretty recently. It doesn't hold up all that much, but it's still fun as heck. And like LeBron James and the Looney Tunes hold it together. I just never liked it as much just because it's not so much. It doesn't feel like an actual Looney Tunes movie. Like they kind of do some out of character things in that one. And I always preferred Looney Tunes Back in Action because that actually like captured the true humor of Looney Tunes. Does this one capture that humor? No, not really. Again, this one kind of just feels like just the style of humor that they think that like modern kids are into. It's definitely like trying to play that stuff and like rely on nostalgia factor. There are some funny jokes and funny throwbacks. Like, this sounds familiar. This sounds like something that happened 25 years ago. And there is a really funny joke that I was dying laughing in the halftime locker room scene, but overall just didn't work for me. We'll get into it, Blaze, but yeah, what'd you think overall?
I have to say, yeah, it's just, I wouldn't say I was like disappointed. I wasn't like super looking forward to a Space Jam sequel. I don't think the film's great. I don't think it's the worst thing ever though. I know a lot of people are saying like this is like the worst movie ever. I feel like I'm at a point where like you could go the full Armand White and be like, this is the greatest film ever made. Like, this film does so much. Or you could be like, you know, this film is the worst. This film is, I just hate it so much. I didn't really care for it. It's like really geared towards kids. So I feel like there's no reason to like super hate on it. But there was a lot of stuff that just was not good about it. But overall, like, I think it was an entertaining watch. Half of it might have actually been though because it was bad. Like some aspects of it being not good was actually highly entertaining. So I had fun watching it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, same. And I definitely have to agree with like people making it out to be like the new like worst movie ever. Like every year there's always that movie that everyone hypes up to be the worst movie ever. And this is not it. It's not good at all by any means, but just like Like, I remember people were trying to say The Fan was like the worst movie ever and stuff, and that definitely I actually enjoyed that movie for the most part.
The Fan?
The Fan starring John Travolta.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we did watch that. We did watch that on here. Yeah, we actually both enjoyed it. It wasn't even like that. It was bad, but like we both enjoyed it. So I think sometimes the barometer, like we've seen, I mean, if you guys are fans of the channel, like we've seen a lot of bad movies here. We know good bad movies when we see them. We know bad movies when we see them. And this just isn't one of those where it's so good it's bad, and it's not so bad that it's bad. It's just kind of exists. Exactly.
It's like, you know, this movie's been a lot of people have been waiting for the sequel for like 20-ish years and stuff, and just like, is this the best you could have did? And it's definitely not the case with it and stuff. It does feel like just that cash grab and just did it just because you can and stuff. And it kind of shows with just like it being a Warner Brothers commercial for the whole movie, it being a lackluster villain that just doesn't hold up and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't like want to like trash the movie as being the worst movie ever. It's just like, it's not fun bad, and that's the problem. And I think also one of the biggest problems was they made this movie for modern kids and not so much the nostalgia of us right now and stuff. Just because I think Stranger Things, like, even though like I'm not the biggest fan of that show, what it does have going for it is that it caters towards nostalgia people who grew up in the 80s, as well as early 90s kids who still watched a lot of 80s movies. Also caters really well to the younger audiences too. Versus this, though, it's made specifically for newer people and stuff, and like I can't imagine anyone our age who, like, you know, was the key demographic of the first Space Jam really being into this movie and stuff. And I think that's why it's getting such bad reviews from critics. And, you know, our generation can be a little dramatic with like either saying it's the best movie ever or worst movie ever. There's no in between. And, you know, it's just like a movie that is going to be forgotten. Like I feel that, like, we're talking about it, but I'm not going to talk about it at all for the rest of this year, though, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get all of it out right now, but there was things that bothered me, I think, about the movie. And it's not even like things that, you know, the movie's about or anything, but it was really just the idea that Warner Brothers sets up this whole like kind of Warner Brothers universe, but cherry picks their favorite things that they want to display in it, like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. I mean, fill in the blank here, but one of the things that bothered me was just the fact that we kept introducing Mad Max, but specifically Mad Max Fury Road. And we all know that there's a massive lawsuit that's been going on for years since the release of Mad Max Fury Road about Warner Brothers not really giving the proper and adequate payment to the director, George Miller. So he's been in a lawsuit and basically been at war with them since the release of the film. We could have had a Mad Max Fury Road 2 by now, if that's something that you guys want. But Warner Brothers really hasn't given us the keys to the castle because they can't really pay their talent properly. And want to say that the film was in the red and didn't actually make any money, yet clearly it made enough for them to put it in this film for no absolute reason than to just sell toys. So that's what bothered me about Warner Brothers, is like, y'all can't even just realize that this is a bad move. Like, this is a bad PR move, and I haven't heard anyone talking about it, but it's just annoying. Like, it's like, I have no respect. I can understand all like putting in everything else. I could really understand the Game of Thrones. I think really didn't fit, to be honest, when we're talking about movies. I know like Warner Brothers makes a ton of television, but I just didn't really feel like the Game of Thrones stuff worked, especially when it just, I don't know, that didn't really work for me. But I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan, so that's probably why it didn't work for me. But I thought all the Justice League or like superhero stuff worked, and that was kind of funny. But the Mad Max Fury Road was just infuriating. Like, why even put this in? It's just stupid. It was stupid. Terrible.
They all also look like just terrible, like, cosplay versions of every character too, though. Like, that didn't help as well too. Like, that was one of the things that was like kind of driving me crazy. I'm just like, my God, like, get like the Pennywise. I was just like, couldn't get someone who looked a little bit better and stuff. Like,
yeah, it was just cringe. Like, it was just cringe cosplay shit. It's like they pulled up to Comic-Con. We're like, hey, y'all, get in. And like at the front, they had a bodyguard that stands at the front of clubs. And he's like, oh, you're wearing Warner Brothers? Get in. Oh, no, Universal? No. You're Dominic Turturro? Back off. We can't have any Universal stuff in here. Only Warner Brothers. We're taking them in to get shot in this movie. And that's how they got that Pennywise.
I mean, like, I guess just my last thing with just why this movie didn't work too was like, making Michael Jordan the star of the original was like a good choice and not a great actor. Same thing with LeBron James, not a great actor, but he's actually funny just seeing him try and stuff. It's like, it's entertaining seeing him try to act, as well as like best friend in the movie too. Like it's his best friend from childhood and he's grown up. He's over the top acting. Like I swear that's literally just, I don't know that actor, no offense to him, but like that guy literally just felt like LeBron James's best friend who's in the movie, and he's just being terrible throughout it and stuff. But like I kind of enjoyed the little charm between that, but adding in the little drama with like the son and stuff just really didn't work. And also it felt like literally Dom James, his son, and within the movie just like was the main character. And like I liked overall like the plot, you know, him being a distant dad and stuff, and then like wants him to grow up to be him. And but like just like that plot's been done so many times before too, and just like it drags on. This movie didn't need to be 2 hours to get that point across and stuff. Like I knew what the point was, but just like I was like, at the end of the day, they're still playing against each other. They could have had the conversation at the beginning of the game and added more tension, but just like, no, they have to make it one dunk costs 1,000 points. I'm like, all right, but that one costs 30 points. I don't understand how this works. There's no stakes for it whatsoever and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the scoring system is a problem in its own. You're right. It just literally sets a game up with no stakes whatsoever. Who knows what a point costs? I understand all the fantastic elements. They were fine, but at least with scoring, like it's supposed to be a basketball movie or a basketball video game movie. I've never played a basketball video game where you're shooting baskets and it's more than the allotted amount of points for basketball. Like, why even make that video game? If this kid really wants to sell his basketball video game and there are points like that are just being given out willy-nilly, like it's never gonna go anywhere, kid. Like NFL Blitz at least still followed like a normal scoring system. It wasn't just crazy you weren't getting points just for beating people up. It doesn't make sense. But one of the things, going back to kind of like LeBron James' acting, and then his son Dom James, played by Cedric Joe. I thought his acting's good. Obviously, he's a talented kid, but I feel like it almost threw LeBron off being around like his kid's such a good actor, to the sense that it makes him look so bad. Where then you're questioning yourself: is the kid a bad actor? Because I'm gonna give it, like, the kid's a professional. Like, he got this role. I'm gonna imagine he's a good actor, but I at times couldn't even tell if he was good or bad because LeBron's acting was so bad. It's not like it was bothering me. It was entertaining. Like you said, like I wasn't like, oh, LeBron's just the worst actor ever and this movie's unbearable. It was like honestly entertaining seeing him just struggle. And I don't think it helped having Don Cheadle as the villain, Algae Rhythm, just being so out there and insane. Like, we've never seen Don Cheadle like this before, to where even like LeBron himself was being thrown off his game at every if LeBron really wanted to act, this was not the movie to start. Like, I know he's done scenes in Trainwreck and we've talked about it before. I thought he was like one of the best things in Trainwreck. That's why I felt like this movie wasn't going to be such a risk. You guys can go back to we did a sequel 2 on Space Jam, or Space Jam 2 on sequel, one of our old videos. This was years ago, but we had mentioned how LeBron James is actually a decent actor. When I started in the first 20 minutes, LeBron's just like stumbling over his words and tripping over every scenery. I was actually like flabbergasted, like, what's going on? And then Don Cheadle comes in and LeBron has no chance to ever recover. Like, there's just no chance for a rebound here.
Yeah, 100% and stuff. And just like the like whole like stakes of just like why would you challenge LeBron James to a basketball game too, though? Like, that didn't help, like, because it made sense in the original where it was a Looney Tunes idea to charge these little guys into a game of basketball, like, oh, we can win this easily and stuff. But why would you challenge the best living basketball player currently to a game of basketball and stuff? And just like, I know that like he knew he was gonna win, he had all these crazy glitches stuff, but just didn't make sense and stuff. And Don Cheadle as a villain doesn't work. Like, I thought he's too big of an actor too. I feel like he's War Machine. Like, I'm not a Marvel fan, but he's War Machine. You're making him play the villain, and none of them say like, oh, you kind of look like that War Machine guy or something, in this crazy universe of movies that they bring to the table.
That's not a Warner Brothers movie, James. You should have known that. So this any non-Warner Brothers movie doesn't exist in this universe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, there's only one God, and that's Warner Brothers. But yeah, I say, like, honestly, it's not really worth it if you absolutely love the original Space Jam. If you're really burgeoning to watch it, just go ahead and watch it. But you're probably going to be super disappointed. I enjoyed it, like, in a sense, but I'm probably never going to see it again or talk about it again. I think I got pretty much everything out here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to see what's called Porky Pig do a really bad freestyle rap for no reason, also, go check out Space Jam: A New Legacy. Anyways, guys, yeah, like if you want to help support the show, be sure to leave a comment letting us know what you thought about the movie. Like we said, it's exclusive to HBO Max currently. It's also playing in theaters, but yeah, eventually when it makes its way to Amazon, be sure to check it out and rent it and let us know what you thought about it in the comments.
Definitely. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And if you can't get enough of us here on YouTube, well, you're in luck because we are also on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Be sure to catch all our links down below. That's going to conclude this week's episode of Fresh Releases. Tune in next week for a brand new video, guys.